So how do you buy cars for free? Now in this video, I'm not going to be talking about Hondas. I'm not going to be talking about Hyundais or Hyundais or however you pronounce those things. Now I'm not hating on those cars, by the way. Great cars. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about buying higher end cars like Mercedes, BMWs, or even higher end cars like Porsches. And in this method, you could even try it out with higher end cars that are exotic like Lamborghinis. Now you guys might be thinking, okay Justin, this is not possible. Nothing is free. But in fact, it is very possible. And that's why you see a ton of YouTubers buy a bunch of fancy cars without really giving up their capital when they do this. Now again, they buy it for free by doing this technique that I'm going to be showing you guys in this video. Now there are a couple of ways that you could succeed doing this, and that is by either buying and flipping it right away, or buying it and enjoying it for a bit and then later on down the road selling it. Now if you guys don't know me, my name is Justin Fernio. I am a day trader. I make videos here on YouTube about the stock market along with videos on personal finance. So if you guys are new to the channel, then consider subscribing. Now if you find any information in this video helpful in any way, hit that like button. Now I am assuming if you're watching this video, you want to know how to buy that fancy car that you always dreamed of. So comment down below what your dream car is. Now if you ask me what my current dream car is, my answer at the moment is going to be the BMW i8. Now I could get this car today if I wanted to and just lease it out, pay the monthly payments, and do whatever I want to do with that. But the main thing is with this technique, I would actually be able to get this car, or you guys could actually get whatever car, use it and then down the road sell it and buy another car and just keep doing that over and over again and truly never spend money on these cars. So with this money, a BMW today, maybe a Mercedes next year, and then, I don't know, go back to a BMW, whatever you want, because every year or every 3 years, you buy another car and you do it for free and you just keep doing it over and over again with the system. Now the key to the system is to buy a car far below market price. Now of course this is going to have to be with a used car. You're not going to be able to apply the system with a brand new car out the lot, and that is because of something called depreciation. Now to explain why, basically when you buy a new car, let's say for $100,000, next year or in 2 years that car might only be worth $50,000, and that's the big problem there. So the concept is to buy a used car after all the depreciation has already occurred. So you buy a used car, usually 2 or 3 years old, because it's already lost its value in depreciation. And after it's already lost its value in depreciation, they still tend to lose value, but at a much slower pace. So this means that if you buy a used car after it's lost most of its value due to depreciation, you could buy it, drive it for a year, maybe a year and a half, and then sell it for pretty much what you bought it for and break even, making it free. Or even drive it for a year and sell it and actually make a profit on it if you sell it for a little bit more than what you paid for it. Now you guys might be like, okay Justin, that's impossible. But I'm going to give you guys proof. I'm going to use my dream car as an example. So right now, at the time of this recording, you can purchase a BMW i8 2016 for roughly $60,000 right now. And when that model came out in 2016, it actually used to cost $141,000. So right there, after a few years, you can see this car lost roughly 55% of its initial value. So what you guys want to do is buy the car right now, because most of the depreciation already occurred. Now, of course, this car will still depreciate, but at a much slower pace. And that's where you want to purchase, right after that large depreciation already hit. So you get it now for $60,000, you drive it for a year, and then you sell it for either the same price you bought it for, or maybe a little higher for a small profit. So this style lets you drive a six-figure car for a year and break even. Now some of you guys might be like, okay Justin, but what if I buy the car, I drive it for a year, but I could only sell it for $800 less than what I bought it for? And the answer to this, you guys, is if you end up having to sell the car for $800 less, that's fine, because taking this loss of $800 driving a car for a year, it's equivalent to driving that luxury car for $66 a month, which is really not bad at all, and really that's better than the lease. Now on top of that, I want to mention that by doing this, you actually can help you make money in other ways. So let me explain. By having a car like this, you can actually bring more opportunities to yourself. For example, if you owned a business, or if you're a realtor and you're driving around in such a nice car, you're definitely going to catch the eyes of people. People are going to, perceive you as successful, and you're more likely to, and people are more likely to do business for you. Now I know this kind of sounds terrible, but in reality it's true. So for example, someone's going to buy products from you for some odd reason. If they see you with a nice car, they'll see you as successful, and thus they'll want to, purchase your products because they believe in you. Again, I know it sounds crazy, might even sound pretentious, but that's the reality. The reality is that this happens in a lot of niches. I mean, there are some rich people out there who won't buy a house or work with a realtor unless they see them in a nice car. So that's also something to consider. Now, having such a nice car is definitely going to open doors for you, and the best part is that you're doing it by driving these nice cars for practically nothing. Now you guys might ask, Justin, what car should I buy? Now we got to consider two things. You have the luxury market, and you also have the exotic market. And the exotic markets are, Lambos, Bentleys, those fancy cars. In the luxury market, you're going to have Mercedes, BMWs, Lexuses. Now, if you're going to get a Mercedes, I personally recommend the C-Class because those cars are pretty popular and they hold their value well after they went through, the depreciation period for the first couple of years. Now, something you also want to consider is that when you look for these cars, you want to look for cars that have low volume on them because if they make too much of them, of course, with too much supply, the price is really just going to go down even quicker. And that's why, it's good to, know what the volume is. Now, when it comes to a Lexus, for example, you might want to have the LS class. And, this class is pretty nice. It offers a 4-door, which is, typically what people want to buy. And it's a great model, and if we're going to talk about the LC class, it loses a lot of its value. So definitely do a little bit of research of which cars, they made a lot of. Now, of course, when you do this technique, you have to keep in the back of your mind that this is an investment. So you're going to want to buy colors that are actually in demand. So for luxury cars, you don't want a pink or purple Mercedes. You're going to want a color like pearl white because it appeals to a larger audience of people looking to purchase that car, which then increases your chances of selling it sooner. So now when we talk about exotic cars, that rule changes, and that is because exotic cars, people want to stand out a little bit more. They want to flex, and of course there's nothing wrong with showing off a little, especially when you have earned it. So for a Lamborghini, for example, you're not going to really want to buy an all black or an all white Lamborghini. You're going to want to go for a color like orange, red, yellow, or even a blue, something like that that pops, but still nothing crazy like a purple. Something else I want to add in there is that the regular philosophy when buying a car is that you don't want to buy something with so many miles, but when you're getting higher end cars, you actually want to make sure that that car is being driven during that time, because if you buy a car that hasn't been driven often for like 2 or 3 years, then it is most likely that the person who owned the car previously hasn't done any maintenance, and that could cost you a lot in repairs, a lot of money, which is something you don't want. So for higher end cars, you want to make sure that there is some mileage in there and that it does add up to someone who's actually been using the car. Now, before you buy a car, you want to make sure that you always check the Carfax, because it matters when you go to sell the car, later on. Because if you buy a car and then you try to sell it later on and it has a terrible history, the potential buyer is going to be like, I'm not going to, pay for this thing for that price when it's been in 10 accidents, which is why you want to make sure that you check the Carfax so you can avoid a major headache later on. Now, to go search for these cars, you're going to want to go on sites like eBay, CarGurus, Craigslist, and Autotrade. You want to check essentially everywhere to actually find the best deals on these cars. But remember, if you go to a big dealership, you want to purchase it for near cost of what it's going for everywhere else, because the dealerships, they have to make some money, so you might pay a little bit more with a big dealership. Just make sure it's not like an extra $8,000. Make sure the max you pay extra is like maybe $2,000. So keep that in your mind when you're shopping around, because big dealerships really, they kind of only care about making money, and your goal is to be smarter than them and know exactly what it's going for. So definitely do your due diligence ahead of time. Now, another thing that you're going to want to do is inspect the vehicle before buying it. And I know you guys might be like, Justin, this is obvious. However, some people give too much trust when they buy from a dealership, a lot more than they actually should. So make sure you do your PPI, which stands for pre-purchase inspection. That way you know what's going on with the car, because dealerships, they can mess you over. And I'm not saying they're evil people, but keep an eye out and be extra cautious. You don't want to overlook something and then end up having problems with the car and then have it need a repair that's like $20,000, which is actually not uncommon for higher end vehicles. Now, when it comes to negotiation, you're going to want to understand what the vehicle is doing and what tactics they're actually using, and what they tend to do is something called the 15 through 30, 45 through 60 day rule, and that is basically in the first 15 days that the car will be at its highest price, and then it will decrease on the 30th day, then by the 45th day it keeps decreasing, and then by the 60th day it gets extremely low, and that's, you know, the right time to buy. So you want to use this to your advantage to get, you know, that car for the lowest value, you know, between the 45th through 60th day. And you know, that's exactly what you want to do, so you don't really get like screwed over with the dealership. Now you're like, okay Justin, how do I find out how long they've been holding the car? And the answer is to check the Carfax, because they are required to you know, have when they took the car in, so you can know how long they've been selling it for. But again, you know, the dealership is gonna need a profit when they're selling, so you're always gonna end up paying a little bit more. So yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, with dealerships, there's always going to be a little bit extra. Now in my case, when it comes down to the BMW i8, I'm waiting for a couple more years for the 2020 model to depreciate so I could go ahead and pick it up. And you know, my current vehicle situation, I'm actually leaning forward to getting rid of my current car and just like Uber everywhere for a year, just because me personally, I don't drive a lot right now, and it would actually benefit me to just keep more capital invested in stocks. But that's just me, you know, for the meantime. Now I hope any of the information in this video was helpful to you guys. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and you know, support the channel by subscribing. And if you guys have any questions, definitely leave a comment in the comment section below. And yeah, I hope everyone is having a beautiful day, and I'm out. Peace.